afternoon, everyone. My name is Liz Morelio Stein, and I'm part of the Yamhill Valley Peacemakers. And we've been around for quite a few years and always trying to have activities within our community that promote peace. And today's activity is the Family Peace Festival, and our concentration is about our children bringing peace to their part of the school or their family. And October is actually anti-bullying month, and so this is a perfect month for that. We've got books that we're going to be reading and enacting today, and we just thought that with the challenges at our schools where our children run into situations where they feel bullied, that this would be a perfect opportunity for them to learn some techniques where they can promote peace and learn what peace is all about. So,
Excellent. Thank you.
So welcome, and please come find a chair up close. I am so glad you're here. We've been working for some time to find the way to celebrate peace and peacemaking and problem solving and good things that are happening in the Yamhill Valley. So Yamhill Valley Peacemakers is sponsoring this Family Peace Festival. And we have a lot of things that comprise a festival: music, crafts, creativity, games, just playing together. And we have a special emphasis on the joy and the wisdom that comes from picture books, both being read to us and being incorporated into us by us acting them out. So that's something else we're going to do. So you're in for great fun. I would like us to welcome Howie Harkema, who's going to open with song.
A small but lively crowd.
Woo! Yeah. Ah, yeah. It could be a little later.
So this first song I'm going to do is a Georgia Satellite song, and if you know the lyrics, sing right along during the chorus. It's called Keep Your Hands to Yourself. Got some change in my pocket going jingle-lingle-lingle. Call you on the telephone, baby, give you a ring. Each time I talk, hear the same old thing. No huggy monkey see until I get a wedding ring. My honey, my baby, don't leave my love on no shelf. She said don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Baby, why do you treat me this way? I'm still your lucky boy, I still feel the same way. That's when she told me about 3 milk and cow. No huggy monkey see until I get a wedding vow. My honey, my baby, don't leave my love upon no shelf. She said don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Well, I was feeling real bad, I was about to give in. Started talking about true love, started talking about sin. Said, honey, I'll quit for the rest of my life. No huggy muggy see until you make me your wife. My honey, my baby, don't leave my hell upon no shelf. Until hand me no your hands to yourself. Well, I was feeling real bad. I was about to give in. Started talking about true love. Started talking about sin. Said, honey, I'll live with you for the rest of my life. No huggy muggy, see, till you make me your wife. My honey, my baby, don't leave my love upon no shelf. She said, don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Said, my honey, my baby, don't leave my love upon no shelf. She said, don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. This next one is a strange song. It is a Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson song. And I was lucky enough to play with Waylon and Willie at the $1 Million Cowboy Bar in Jackson Hole, Wyoming back in the 70s because their drummer broke his leg. And they knew I was in the area. And so I tried to figure out who would be the strangest person to sing along with Waylon, and it ended up being Bob Dylan. Everybody know who Bob Dylan is? Okay. This is called Good Hearted Woman. So this is a duet between Waylon Jennings and Bob Dylan. That good life he promised ain't what she's living today. Though she don't understand him, but she does the best that she can. She's a good-hearted woman, loving a good time of man. She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time of man. She loves him in spite of his wicked way. She don't understand. They'll pass through this world hand in hand. She's a good-hearted woman, loving a good time of man. Sing it, Bob. He likes the nightlife, this red life, good time to spend. When the party's all over, she'll welcome him back home again. But she never complains, Lord, about the bad times, bad things he's done, Lord. She just talks about the good times they've had. All the good times have come. She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time and man. She loves him in spite of his cowboy way. She don't understand. Teardrops and laughter, wailing. She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good-time man. She loves him in spite of this Mickey Mouse way she don't understand. Through teardrops and laughter, they'll pass through this world hand in hand. She's a good-hearted woman, in love with a good-time man. She's a good-hearted woman, in love with a good-time man. Thank you very much.
About 14 or 15 years ago, Yamhill Valley Peacemakers decided there was a book that is just so cool, it's got to be shared. So at one of our potlucks, we sold rhymes for a nickel and raised enough money because people thought, well, you know, that rhyme was worth a little more than a nickel. So they put in money, and we got enough copies of Enemy Pie to give to all of the public libraries and I think all of the elementary schools in the area. Liz Stein is going to read that story for us now.
So when I showed this to my granddaughter, who's a 3rd grader at Dayton Elementary School, she goes, "Oh, Grandma, we just read that book last week." So I thought, good, we really have made a difference in our community. Okay, Enemy Pie, and it is by Derek Munson. I think I'm gonna put my glasses on. It should have been a perfect summer. My dad helped me build a treehouse in our backyard. My sister was at camp for 3 whole weeks, and I was on the best baseball team in town. It should have been a perfect summer, but it wasn't. It was all good until Jeremy Ross moved into the neighborhood right next door to my best friend Stanley. I did not like Jeremy Ross. He laughed at me when he struck me out in a baseball game. He had a party on his trampoline and I wasn't invited, but my best friend Stanley was. Jeremy Ross was the one and only person on my enemy list. I never even had an enemy list until he moved into the neighborhood. But as soon as he came along, I needed one. I hung it up in my treehouse where Jeremy Ross was not allowed to go. Dad understood stuff like enemies. He told me that when he was my age, he had enemies too, but he knew of a way to get rid of them. I asked him to tell me how. Tell you how? I'll show you how, he said. He pulled a really old recipe book off the kitchen shelf. Inside there was a worn-out scrap of paper with faded writing. Dad held it up and squinted at it. Enemy Pie. He was satisfied. Everyone see? You may be wondering what exactly is in Enemy Pie. I was wondering too. But Dad said the recipe was so sweet, he couldn't even tell me. It was so secret, he couldn't even tell me. I decided it must be magic. I begged him to tell me something, anything. I will tell you this, he said. Enemy Pie is the fastest known way to get rid of enemies. Now, of course, this got my mind working. What kinds of things, disgusting things, would I put into a pie for an enemy? I brought Dad some weeds from the garden, but he just shook his head. I brought him some earthworms and rocks, but he didn't think he needed those. I gave him the gum I'd been chewing on all morning. He gave it right back to me. I went out to play alone. I shot baskets until the ball got stuck on the roof. I threw a boomerang that never came back to me. And all the while, I listened to the sounds of my dad chopping and stirring and blending the ingredients of enemy pie. This could be a great summer after all. Enemy pie was going to be awful. I tried to imagine how horrible it must smell, or worse yet, what it would look like. But when I was in the backyard looking for ladybugs, I smelled something really, really, really good. As far as I could tell, it was coming from our kitchen. I was a bit confused. I went in to ask Dad what was wrong. Enemy pie shouldn't smell this good. But Dad was smart. If enemy pie smelled bad, your enemy would never eat it, he said. I could tell he'd made enemy pie before. The buzzer rang and Dad put on the oven mitts and pulled the pie out of the oven. It looked like plain old pie. It looked good enough to eat. I was catching on. But still, I wasn't really sure how this enemy pie worked. What exactly did it do to enemies? Maybe it made their hair fall out, or their breath stinky. Maybe it made bullies cry. I asked Dad, but he was no help. He wouldn't tell me a thing. But while the pie cooled, he filled me in on my job. He talked quietly. There's one part of enemy pie that I can't do. In order for it to work, you need to spend a day with your enemy. Even worse, you have to be nice to him. It's not easy, but that's the only way that enemy pie can work. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Of course I was. It sounded horrible. It was scary, but it was worth a try. All I had to do was spend one day with Jeremy Ross. Then he'd be out of my hair for the rest of my life. I rode my bike to his house and knocked on the door. When Jeremy opened the door, he seemed surprised. He stood on the other side of the screen door and looked at me, waiting for me to say something. I was nervous. Can you play? I asked. He looked confused. I'll go ask my mom, he said. He came back with his shoes in his hand. His mom walked around the corner to say hello. You boys stay out of trouble, she said, smiling. We rode bikes for a while and played on the trampoline. Then we made some water balloons and threw them at the neighbor girls. But we missed. Jeremy's mom made us lunch. After lunch, we went over to my house. It was strange, but I was kind of having fun with my enemy. He almost seemed nice. But of course I couldn't tell Dad that, since he had worked so hard to make this enemy pie. Jeremy Ross liked my basketball hoop. He said he wished he had a basketball hoop, but they didn't have room for one. I let him win a game, just to be nice. Jeremy Ross knew how to throw a boomerang. He threw it, and it came right back to him. I threw it, and it went over my house and into the backyard. When we climbed over the fence to find it, the first thing Jeremy noticed was my treehouse. My treehouse was my treehouse. I was the boss. If my sister wanted in, I didn't have to let her. If my dad wanted in, I didn't have to let him. And if Jeremy wanted in, can we go in it, he asked. I knew he was going to ask me that. But he was the top person, the only person on my enemy list. And enemies aren't allowed in my treehouse. But he did teach me how to throw a boomerang, and he did have me over for lunch, and he did let me play on his trampoline. He wasn't being a very good enemy. Okay, I said, but hold on. I climbed up ahead of him and tore the enemy list off the wall. I had a checkerboard and some cards in the treehouse, and we played games until my dad called us down for dinner. We pretended we didn't hear him. And when he came out to get us, we tried to hide from him, but somehow he found us. Dad made us macaroni and cheese for dinner, my favorite. It was Jeremy's favorite too.
Maybe Jeremy Ross wasn't so bad after all. I was beginning to think that maybe we should just forget about enemy pie. But sure enough, after dinner, Dad brought out the pie. I watched as he cut the pie into 8 thick slices. Dad said, "It sure is nice having a new friend." Or, no, Dad, I said, "It sure is nice having a new friend in the neighborhood." I was trying to get his attention and trying to tell him that Jeremy Ross was no longer my enemy. But Dad only smiled and nodded. I think he thought I was just pretending. Dad dished up 3 plates side by side with big pieces of pie and giant scoops of ice cream. He passed one to me and one to Jeremy. "Wow," Jeremy said, looking at the pie. "My dad never makes pies like this." It was at this point that I panicked. I didn't want Jeremy to eat the enemy pie. He was my friend. I couldn't let him eat it. "Jeremy, don't eat it. It's bad pie. I think it's poisonous or something." Jeremy's fork stopped before reaching his mouth. He crumpled his eyebrows and looked at me funny. I felt relieved. I had saved his life. I was a hero. "If it's so bad," Jeremy asked, "then why has your dad already eaten half of it?" I turned to look at my dad. Sure enough, he was eating enemy pie. "Good stuff," he mumbled through a mouthful, and that was all he said. I sat there watching them eat enemy pie for a few seconds. Dad was laughing, Jeremy was happily eating, and neither of them was losing any hair. It seemed safe enough, so I took a tiny taste. Enemy pie was delicious. After dessert, Jeremy rode his bike home, but not before inviting me over to play on his trampoline in the morning. He said he'd teach me how to flip. As for enemy pie, I still don't know how to make it. I still wonder if enemies really do hate it, or if their hair falls out, or their breath turns bad. But I don't know if I'll ever get an answer, because I just lost my best enemy.
Thank you, Liz. Now we have a chance to bring some more picture books to life. So we will take 5 minutes to read through a picture book with a leader, and then we're going to act it out. And I'm guessing we have just about enough people that if we all did it, so this isn't just for kids because anybody can play a role in a picture book. I'm just going to tell you what they're going to be. Wayne, would you wave, is going to work with Can I Play Too? And if Sky would join his group, and then we need 2 other people so that Wayne will have 3 actors in his group. Then we have a book called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? And Liz is going to do that. And she needs at least 3 actors to go with her. So when it's time, you watch Liz, and she can take up to 7 too. Quilts in the Attic is a story that Daryl is going to help us with. Daryl was greeting at the door, so we'll see that he gets back. And he has to have 2 actors with him. I'm going to be working with That's What Friends Are For, a story that something happens in the jungle, and I need 7 actors. So you could come with me. I'm going to be working in the back. And The Doorbell Rang. Joe is going to be working with that, a story of interruptions from a doorbell and what happens. But Joe needs either 14 actors or 10 actors and 4 dolls. So anyway, we may have to have some of you say, you know, I think I could just mime something on the spot. So, and they're all delightful, delightful stories. Here's Daryl just coming in the back. Okay, take just 1 minute to finish up your planning and realize that you can kind of just plan too as it's being told, and you can do the role.
Oh, sure, easy for you to say.
Improvisation.
Okay, why don't we take our seats? You become the audience, and we're going to have some picture book drama for your fun.
This is Can I Play Too by Mo Williams. And it'll be, the characters will be an elephant, a pig, and a snake. Right.
You're the snake, right?
You're the snake. I'm the
Okay.
pig.
Yeah.
An honorary fox running around.
You're the fox.
Okay. So the elephant says,
Okay. Yeah, let's play catch. I like playing catch with my friends. Are you gonna throw? Okay,
and then the pig says,
and I'll catch.
Excuse me, can I play too?
I don't know.
You do not want to play with me?
We do, yeah, we do wanna play with you, but, we're playing catch.
You don't have any on.
Yeah,
I don't have any arms,
you don't have any arms.
so
Well,
I do not have arms.
no, you don't.
I know I do not have arms. I am a snake.
You are a funny snake. But can a snake play catch?
I do not know, but I can try, yes.
Let's try it. Whoop, bonk, whoa. I'll try it. Bonk, whoa. Didn't work so good. Well, maybe we need to try more balls. It's not working with one. Let's try more.
It's okay, let's try again.
All right. Elephant, you try. We need another ball. More balls. Yeah, more balls. Over here, throw it over here. Bonk. Throw more. I don't think we need more. Let's put all of them. Maybe that's the problem. Come on, bonk.
Wait,
Bonk.
balls.
Bonk. Wait, this is not really working.
Wait, we have tried, but I am a snake.
Yeah,
A
but
snake cannot play catch.
what? No, no, no. You are our friend, and we can all play catch.
How?
Well, I got a piggy idea. You got an idea?
We could throw snake.
Well, let's try it. Oh, you can play catch. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. All right.
Awesome! Creativity and problem solving brings wonderful solutions. Thank you, actors, and Mo Willems for writing that book. Our next book is Have You Filled a Bucket Today? And the leader is Liz Stein.
can do it down here. Alice, we do it down here. Yeah.
Do it down here?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you filled the bucket today? A guide to daily happiness for kids. And I was pleased to find out that some of the educators in my family actually use this in their schools. So. All day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. You can't see it, but it's there. You have a bucket. Each member of your family has a bucket. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbors all have buckets. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. Even the dog. And the cat. Your bucket has one purpose only. Its purpose is to hold your good thoughts and good feelings about yourself. You feel happy and good when your bucket is full. And you feel sad and lonely. That's being a bucket filler.
Bucket's filler.
A bucket filler is a loving, caring person who says and does nice things to make others feel happy. When you treat others with kindness and respect, you fill their bucket. But you can also dip into a bucket and take out some good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, when you say or do mean things, or even when you ignore someone. That's bucket dipping. Bullying is bucket dipping. When you hurt others, you dip into their bucket. You will dip into your own bucket too. Many people who dip have an empty bucket. Sadness, guys. They may think they can fill their own bucket by dipping into someone else's, but that will never work. You never fill your own bucket when you dip into someone else's. But guess what? When you fill someone's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. You feel good when you help others feel good. All day long, we are either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. You love your mom and dad. Why not tell them you love them? You can even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets with joy. Need some sad faces and happy faces. Watch smiles to light up their faces. You will feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries an invisible bucket, and think of what you can say or do to fill it. Here are some ideas for you. You could smile and say hi to the bus driver. He has a bucket too. You could invite the new kid at school to play with you. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. You could tell your grandpa that you like spending time with him. There are many ways to fill a bucket. Bucket filling is fun and easy to do. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't cost money. It doesn't take much time. And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own too. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, and your neighborhood better places for all. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just start each day by saying to yourself, I'm going to do something to fill someone's bucket today. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, did I fill a bucket today? Yes, I did. That's the life of a bucket filler. And that's you. Yay.
Thank you for that reminder
I've got an
that
empty bucket, I need a hug.
every day in every way we are doing something that fills buckets or dips from them. So our next story, Daryl is the leader, and it's called Quilts in the Attic. An unusual story, perhaps, about where the power really lies.
So this is by Robin Fleischer, with pictures by Addie Forley. Quilts in the Attic. And I would like to introduce, in their dramatic inauguration, Joanne and Lynn. Early one morning, as the rain fell outside, Rosie and Natasha climbed the long, narrow stairs to the attic. They went straight to the old trunk in the corner and began to haul out the quilts. "I'm the king," said Natasha. "Me too," said Rosie. "I'm the fast wind," huffed Natasha. "Me too," said Rosie. Natasha leaped up. "I'm a star high in the sky." "Me too," said Rosie. "No, you're not," said Natasha. "Yes, I am," said Rosie. "Then I'll push you right down to the ground," growled Natasha. "No, you won't," said Rosie. "Oh, yes, I will." "Then," said Rosie, "I'll just be a quilt." And she lay down flat on the floor and didn't move. Not an inch, not half of an inch, not half of a half of a half of an inch. "I'll roll you up in a ball," said Natasha. But Rosie didn't blink. "Then I'm not your sister," yelled Natasha. Rosie didn't even sigh. Natasha thought. "Rosie," she said, "I know. I'll be a quilt too." Rosie jumped up. "You can be the same quilt as me." Then they hugged each other tight. They played and played through the morning and into the afternoon. By the time the sun came out from behind the clouds, Rosie and Natasha had fallen fast asleep.
We're going to do the story. That's what things are for. Now we're going to do multiple roles here. And this story was adapted slightly for mediation training for grade school kids that were working on skills of being a mediator too. So you might hear a little bit of mediation in the jungle. Theodore the elephant is sitting in the middle of the forest. He has hurt his leg. What a problem! This morning, Theodore was to meet his little cousin at the other end of the forest.
Woe is me! My little cousin is at the other end of the forest. I have a bad leg and I can't walk. I know what I'll do. I'll ask my friends for advice. That's what friends are for.
Along comes Theodore's friend, the bird. Well, if I had a bad leg and I can't walk, I know what I'd do. I would just fly.
Thank you for the advice.
And all the jungle animals graciously replied, well, that's what friends are for. Along comes Theodore's friend, the granddaddy Longlegs. And all the animals in the jungle asked what the spider was wondering. Theodore, why are you sitting here in the middle of the forest?
I have a bad leg and I can't walk. And I can't fly. And I can't meet my little cousin at the other end of the forest.
Oh, well, if I had a bad leg, I'd just walk anyway, because I have 7 other legs to walk with.
Thank you for the advice.
And all the jungle animals replied, that's what friends are for. Along comes Theodore's friend, the monkey. And all the animals in the jungle asked what the monkey was wondering.
Just by my tail.
Oh, well, Theodore, why are you sitting here in the middle of the forest?
I have a bad leg and I can't walk. And I can't fly. I don't have 7 other legs. And I can't meet my cousin at the other end of the forest.
And the monkey says,
I can't just swing by my tail.
oh,
Well, I may not have a strong tail, but I have a very strong trunk. Yes, I'll take your advice.
Theodore limps to the tree, bumps it with his trunk, and the tree falls over.
Thank you for your advice.
Well, that's what friends are for. Along comes Theodore's friend, the crab. And all the jungle animals were wondering, Theodore, why are you sitting here in the middle of the forest?
I have a bad leg. I can't fly. I don't have 7 other legs. I can't swing from the trees by my tail or by my trunk. And I can't meet my cousin at the other end of the forest.
If I had a bad leg, I'd just get rid of it, because I could grow another one.
Thank you for your advice.
Well, that's what friends are for. Along comes Theodore's friend, a mediator lion. And the jungle animals asked what the lion was wondering. Theodore, why are you sitting in the middle of the forest?
I am discouraged. I have many problems, big problems. I have a bad leg, and I can't walk, I can't fly, I don't have 7 other legs, I can't swing by my tail or by my trunk, I can't grow another leg, and I can't meet my cousin at the other end of the forest.
You know, I think I should bounce back what he just said. Then I'll be sure I understand. So, you're discouraged and you wish you could fly and grow more legs? Is that right?
Not exactly. I don't really care that much about growing more legs.
Well, he would. I could just lift him with by my tail.
Whoa, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see there.
So if you had a bad leg, that's keeping you from meeting your cousin?
Yes.
And you've already tried to solve the problem on your own and you're still stuck?
Well, not exactly. I've been listening to the advice of my friends, and that's what friends are for.
Well, let me call your friends together. Roar! Now what have you been telling him to do?
I can lift. I can lift. If I know the little airplane one, I can lift him by my tail.
Oh. Well, I wonder if we might try another mediation skill. Theodore, what do you think you could do to solve the problem?
I might write my cousin a letter and tell him I can't come.
What would happen then?
I miss his birthday. It's today.
Today is his birthday? And if you wrote the letter, you'd miss it? What else could you do?
I could ask my friends for more advice, but that doesn't seem to work.
Have you thought about anything else?
Yes, but it wouldn't work.
Well, you can still suggest it. It might help you think of something else that would work.
Well, I was thinking my friends could carry me to the other end of the forest so I could see my little cousin.
Well, that's an idea. I haven't heard of spiders and crabs and birds carrying elephants before, but...
Or maybe...
Oh, of course! Monkey, let's go.
I can tell you.
You could just give it to Theodore. Want to give the cousin to Theodore?
Oh, thank you. Happy birthday, cousin.
To give advice is very nice, but friends can do much more. Friends should try to help a friend. That's what friends are for. And our final drama is
To get my tail off.
okay. Our final drama is our leader, Joe, with The Doorbell Rang.
Okay. All my volunteers up here, please. I could use 4 more people to help the story make a little more sense, if that's possible.
Between the two of us.
Sorry for the wait. The Doorbell Ring by Pat Hutchins. I've made some cookies for tea, said Mom. Good, said Victoria and Sam. We're starving. Share them between yourselves, said Mom. I made plenty. That's 6 each, said Sam and Victoria. They look as good as Grandma, said Victoria. They smell as good as Grandma, said Sam. No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Mom, as the doorbell rang. It was Tom and Hannah from next door. Come in, said Mom. You can share the cookies. That's 3 each, said Sam and Victoria. They smell as good as your grandma, said Tom. And look as good, said Anna. No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Peter and his little brother. Come in, said Mom. You can share the cookies. You got 3 there.
It happened.
Yeah. That's 2 each, said Victoria and Sam. They look as good as your grandma's, said Peter, and smell as good. Nobody makes cookies like Grandma, said Mom as the doorbell rang. It was Joy and Simon, their 4 cousins. With their 4 cousins. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Come in, said Mom. You can share the cookies. Okay, so, yeah, sorry. That's everybody else. That's 1 each, said Sam and Victoria. They smell as good as your grandma, said Joy, and look as good, said Simon. No one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma, as the doorbell rang. And rang. Oh dear, said Ma, as the children stared at the cookies on their plates. Perhaps you'd better eat them before we open the door. We'll wait, said Sam. It was Grandma with an enormous tray of cookies. How nice to have so many friends to share with them, said Grandma. Share them with. It's a good thing I made a lot. And no one makes cookies like Grandma, said Ma, as the doorbell rang.
Thanks for your help.
Excellent job on the doorbell, Andy.
Paul, how are the cookies?
Delicious.
Oh wow, there's like a bunch of
Here,
different
get a
kinds.
close-up.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. Looks like a coconutty one.
No, it's a coconut chocolate swirl.
What would you give out of 5? What would you give it?
A zero-
Once you get around to it.
A 0 to 5, a 4.75. Very good.
How's the East Coast?
Hey.
Be the camera. Be the camera. Be the camera. Yeah, this is definitely the blooper roll right here.
Perfect. It's perfect. We can keep this up
Paul?
for a minute.
We gotta get Paul in on the test now.
Oh my God.
Oh, we have to both zoom in on Paul now.
He's busy eating cookies. There he is. There we go. Hey, and Dutch Bros. Not sponsored.
Got Angela in the background. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
So Charlie Walker is coming also. And then that's all I know. Who do you have for cookies?
There are restrooms just down the hall to the left.
There's a table there that has some very small peace bowls, and the ones on the left side of the table have white paint on them if you'd like to do white. The ones on the left are, we have written out for you in several different languages the word peace. So the idea would be that you would decorate your own peace pole, and there's some fishing line there, and we'll show you how to put that on if you want to hang it, maybe on your Christmas tree if you do that, or in your window, or on your mirror in your car. Anyway, so there are many peace poles, and you'll get a chance. We're going to take about 10 minutes because we're running just a little bit behind schedule, and so you'll have time to use those different colored markers and get your peace pole decorated so you'll be able to take it home with you.
This is my world, this is your world. What kind of world do we want it to be? Here in my world, here in your world, all of the children should be happy and free. Feliz Halloween,
And by the way, these people you see walking around with cameras today, they are working with Howie on How You Doing show that will capture this for everyone that didn't get to be here today. It will be available on cable and on YouTube to inspire others that there is a lot of peacemaking and camaraderie in Yamhill Valley.
Show about, oops, is this on? Is this on? It is now.
Okay, it's on. We're going to show a video that MCM and I put together with Howie's help on the McMinnville Peace Village, which happened in August 17th to the, what was it?
14th through the 18th.
14th through 18th. This year, Molly, our camp director, is sitting over there. Grace, our assistant camp director, is over there too. We're going to show about 15 or 20 minutes of a 30-minute video that you can find on the McMinnville Sunrise Rotary page. MCM TV has it a longer version, actually several versions. So we're going to do it again next August, so I hope you enjoy it. It's it's 30 minutes, and we'll try and do about 15-20 minutes of it.
So I just want to hand out some accolades first, because the group that shot all of this video took upon themselves a major project here. So Andrew Floratos on camera over there. Paul Weber on camera right here. Joseph Latarte back there on the other camera. Caroline O'Brien right next to him. And Angela Jane Howard, who's sitting up here next to Molly. So we do my TV show once a week, sometimes once every other week. But these guys wanted to do some remotes. So the first remote we did was Farm Fest, and it was awesome, and it took forever to edit out of the 180 hours of film footage that we shot with multiple cameras. But we finally got that put together, and we've learned that if each person kind of takes their segment of the editing process after they get their film footage back, then it becomes personal to them. So that's what's been happening here lately. So we were invited by Larry and others to come out and film the Peace Village, the McMinnville First Annual Peace Village for the Rotary and all of the attendees. And this is a small portion of what's playing on MCM, and we'll be going to YouTube really quickly here. So, big accolades to all of these guys.
Ciao ragazzi, hello everybody. This is Prince Lorenzo de Medici, directly from Italy. I can't be there today, but with my heart and all my love, I'm there with you guys. And yes, I would love to welcome the McMinnville Peace Village for this beautiful occasion, and the Rotary Club for hosting me, and to talk about some topic who is so important today, who is the respect to the other, and it's the tolerance for the other people. Sing it with me. One more chorus. You know you gotta. Let's get together and feel alright. We're gonna shine so bright, every day like the sun. Like the rhythm of the drum can be of everyone. But what comes true, I love to you, it goes on and on. Take a whistle like the way we do it. Come on. Sing it with me. One more chorus. You know you gotta. Alright now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
And words right now. We have a very special bear with us, And yeah, the bear can come, and Molly is the local representative for Hands and Words. And let's see what message they have for us.
Hi, and hello from the bear. Talk close. I am the leader of the Yamhill County Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Committee of Seroptimus International of McMinnville, and our symbol is the Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting bear. The bear and I and other members of the committee, including Grace, travel around to elementary schools and teach the little ones the pledge, but we also offer the family pledge letter, where we go to community events like this and invite families to take the very simple 12-word pledge, which is, do you want to do the pledge with me? You want to say it?
I will not use my hands on my wallet for hurting myself or others.
Very nice. So we say, I will not use my hands or my words for hurting myself or others. We are just wrapping up our 12th, whoa, hold on a second, kiddo.
12 what?
Our 12th year here in Yamhill County, with this last week being Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting Week. The McMinnville City Council will be extending our Hands and Words celebration and declaring another week, Hands and Words Week, here in McMinnville. We've also done it in the McMinnville School District every year, and be part of our Hands Committee and be Hands ambassadors around the community. And now the bear and I will lead you in the pledge. Ready? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Molly and Hands Bear, and for all the work you're doing in the community. If they want to recreate some game, what a caterpillar crawl would look like, because we have told some people we're going to do that. But we're slow caterpillars today, and I don't think we're going to get to that. So.
We should have a couple of volunteers to just demonstrate it.
Okay, he's saying a couple of volunteers to get out there and show you what it is so that you will know if you're doing a picnic for a group or a family reunion and you want to help lead in cooperation.
So the idea is to cooperate in your journey. So you have to figure out, how you're going to communicate like you would in life, and then how you're going to make movements again. So let's see, Joe. If we want to move that way, how are we going to do this? Where you want to? You call it. Right. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Right. Left. Right. Left. It's a caterpillar crawl. Right. Left. Right. Left. Joe makes it look easy. When you put 6 people on here, it is a bit of a challenge. But it does kind of get the message across that we do need to work together, communicate, and have a program that is good for everyone.
Thank you, Wayne and Joe. And they take this on the Oregon Trail Wagon Train 4-H group every summer and get kids cooperating as they go. Howie, a little music to send us off.
So on the screen is the chorus to this song, which I wrote back in 2009 or 10 for the Yamhill Valley Peacemakers concert that we did at the Grand Ballroom. It's kind of become a mantra song over the years for all of us. This is called The Light of Peace. So I'm going to teach you the chorus, and then we'll stop, and then I'll start it, and then you can join with me. And some of you already know it, so I only have the chorus up here on the screen, but all the lyrics are there. They're just underneath of what's showing on the screen. So here's how it goes. Repeat after me. There is a light.
There is a light
that shines so bright.
that shines so bright.
A light of hope.
A light of hope.
A light of peace.
A light of peace.
With peace for all.
With peace for all.
Can you hear the call?
Can you hear the call?
A light of hope.
A light of hope.
A light of peace.
A light of peace.
Perfect. So here's what it goes like. There is a light that shines so bright, light of hope, a light of peace, with peace for all. Can you hear the call? Light of hope, a light of peace. Everybody. There is a light that shines so bright, a light of hope, a light of peace, with peace for all. Can you hear the call? A light of hope, a light of peace. Deliverance from poverty, deliverance from war, deliverance from apathy, deliverance from oppression, deliverance to happiness, deliverance to love and joy, deliverance to global harmony, deliverance to true compassion. There is a light that shines so bright, a light of hope, a light of peace, with peace for all. Can you hear the call? A light of hope, a light of peace. Call to action to ban injustice. Call to action to stand for peace. Call to action to achieve real freedom. Call to action to make a difference. Retraction from hatred and ignorance. Retraction from harming the earth. Retraction from violence and greed. Retraction from inequality. This universe is an expanding vibration. Oh, stardust children of one world, we must rise and sing this song together. For this grand vibration, oh, to unfurl. There is a light that shines so bright, a light of hope, a light of peace, with peace for all. Can you hear the call? A light of hope, a light of peace. Everybody. There is a light that shines so bright, a light of hope, a light of peace, with peace for all. Can you hear the call? The light of hope. Thank you very much. Thanks for singing along.
Thank you, Howie. That is indeed a theme song that we're using now for Yamhill Valley Peacemakers. Thank you for coming.